Hi, color therapist Susan McKenzie here. Well, we've arrived at the new moon in October. These are the bottles that have been picked for this new moon to offer you support over this new moon cycle. And so this new moon focuses heavily on the themes of balance, relationships, and harmony. Right? It's in the sign of Libra. And the new moon is when the sun and the moon actually meet on the same degree in the sky. And during the new moon, the veil between the subconscious and the conscious the conscious mind is actually lowered. So it's a really great time for us to work with color therapy, because the job of color therapy is to identify what's sitting in the subconscious mind and then just to bring it into the consciousness so that we find clarity much faster. We can release the things that keep us blocked, right? And right now is also a really great time in the new moon where we can hear our intuition much more loudly, and we can actually feel our vibrations much more clearly, and we understand our desires more fully. And so that's why this is the perfect place for us to actually sit down with intention and figure out what it is that we want to bring forward into our lives. And again, if you're working on a big project, you can make it into a small thing to work with the moon and the lunar cycle to help you manifest your that part of the intention that you have, right? And we also have a solar eclipse over this new moon, and these two things play together very well for us, I think, anyway. I mean, the energies are heavy, but they are what they are, right? And so here where you have a new moon where it's barely visible, you can only really see it as a shadow, you will have an opportunity, if your evening is clear, you will see the sun behind it, and it will form a ring, this bright fiery ring behind the moon. I'm really looking forward to that. I think the sky where I am is actually clear. And, but here's the thing, is that when we have this solar eclipse, where the things that are available to us in this new moon, where we have the heightened intuition and the veil is the veil is lowered, it's much more intensified, or it's much more to a greater degree in the solar eclipse. And so it's like essentially a supercharged new moon, right? And with Libra, we have, Libra, we're bringing in this skill that helps us to be able to hold two opposing truths and understand them. So it's like not labeling them as good or bad, right? We're learning to go into this space where we can take the whole picture into consideration before making any judgment and or taking a stance on anything, right? And, truth is what's really the important keyword here, right? The truth of who we are is important for us to understand. So, get down and dirty with yourself and figure that out, right? Notice what truths come up for you and what is being reflected around you, because it's really important for us to look at these things and to question everything that comes into our being, right? And not really for the sake of judgment, but more for us to better understand the judgment that comes up when we are, when these things arrive in our lives, and see what aligns with our truth. So here are the two bottles that were chosen for you. And if you haven't picked one, go ahead and pick one now. And now let's have a look and see what they have to say. So the first bottle we're going to look at is this lovely right here. This bottle is number 9. It is called Mars, and it is red over top of orange. Isn't that lovely? Very fiery, that bottle. And, it's here to support you to change what needs changing, right? We can be mad and meek and frustrated, or we can change, right? Red really taps into victimhood, and it's really time for us to actually move out of that space of victimhood. It doesn't serve us in any way. It just holds on to things and keeps us stuck in the now, right? Or stuck in the past, really, or bringing the past into the now is what I should really be saying, right? We really and truly are much greater than anything that has ever happened to us, right? It's time for us to say what needs saying, and that includes saying what needs saying to yourself, right? Do what needs doing, right? The energy of this bottle completely will support you over this new moon period. And that orange sitting in the bottom there really will help us connect it to any trauma that we're still holding on to, right? And it will just release that trauma and help us move into a state of bliss, right? This is really, really in line with this solar eclipse new moon, right? It's, look at what's going on around you and what makes you angry. I mean, have a look and sit with those things and, sit and see where you are in a space of judgment, and then ask yourself why you're in a space of judgment. And that's how we can clear these issues of judgment, right? Remember, this is really about a time for us to look at both sides of a situation and seeing neither as being right or wrong. And really, the red really supports us in that, and also really supports us in the body, right? Often we'll find that when we sit with anger, we sit with anger rather than expressing it. It'll actually, manifest as illness in the body, right? And so people who are in that space will often pick that red bottle. I have to find myself, let's say if my knee's bothering me or my elbow or something, I might go, hey, what's going on here? What is this really about? And often I will find that there may be something going on within myself emotionally, right? Being bottle 9, we find this completion in numerology, right? Number 9 is a completion, and choosing this bottle often signals that you're ready to let go of the old stories, those stories that no longer serve you. And again, when we're talking about this veil between the subconscious and the conscious being lesser and allowing us to actually really go into those spaces with much greater ease during this new moon, right? It's really also about anchoring ourselves in the earth and shifting to a more positive journey filled with possibility, right? So that is your first bottle. Let's have a look and see what the second bottle has to say. So the second bottle we're going to look at is this beauty right here. And this is bottle number C13. It is the throat chakra. I speak my spirit, and it is blue violet over blue violet. And clearly, if this bottle's talking about the throat chakra and it's saying I speak my spirit, I guess we're talking about communication here, right? But it's really on a different level, right? This is about awakening to your spirit and communicating from that higher perspective, right? It's interesting because these bottles, I tell people in the past, like these bottles I actually pick at the very beginning of January. I go into meditation, then I come out, and then I pick the bottles, not so randomly, obviously. But they always seem to jive with whatever moon that they are supporting, and I always find that quite fascinating. So again, this bottle is about judgments and reevaluating how you respond, how we love and how we behave. It's about speaking our spirit and our truth, right? It's also really about claiming our authority, right? That blue is such a supportive, just feels so protective. And it's really, about settling into our truth as well. And really releasing judgment is really about a time of judgment, clearly. And the judgment that we fear from others, right? People are not judging us. We always think that they're judging us, but they're too concerned about judging themselves, right? We all get into our head about stuff like that, and it's really not serving us to our highest potential, right? We're really starting to understand about the power of manifesting, right? And about our words and their power. And, about releasing anything that stops the flow in our throat chakra. And we need to really understand that our words are so powerful and that we can manifest with words. Situations that arise, it's really good for us to ask ourselves questions about what is my spirit saying here when something arrives and we're not expecting it, or something that we judge as bad, or something we judge it good, wherever we go into that space, right? And always look at what can I learn here, because this is what it's about. These are these lessons that are coming out. And really, remember that how we judge a situation, right, will directly affect what we draw into our lives. So if we're judging something a specific way, we will just bring more of that into our lives just to prove that judgment. So it's better to stay out of judgment as best we can, right? And come to some sort of agreement about it being from a neutral position, right? As well, this is really about opening up to our divine energies and because they surround us all the time, and those are the things that really can help us move forward in our lives. Those are the things that can help us release judgment and help us to manifest, right? This bottle's a little bit like a portal, and I really feel it's quite connected to divinity, right? And to the archangels and the angels. And again, they are there, they support us, they're around us. And I find great comfort in that. Again, that blue is just this cloak of comfort I always find, right? And, really understand that with support around us, we really and truly can understand the perfection of life. So those are the 2 bottles for this new moon solar eclipse supercharge. And I hope that you found things that resonated with you in these bottles. And if you comment below, let me know what you thought of the reading, how you felt the bottles connected to you, or maybe you felt just completely disconnected from them. Either way, that's fine. All right. So I'll see you on the next full moon.